everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out all my links down below. I do have a few articles that I wrote on Medium. One of them is covering like an exit strategy of getting out of the rat race, and another just goes over some cool countries that have a relatively cheap cost of living that you can retire early to, or if you're on a really like small budget for retirement, you could go there and be able to afford it and pay your bills. So yeah, today we're going to be discussing why this month I have decided that starting next month I'm going to really limit my Facebook time. And I kind of been feeling like I needed to do this for a while now, but it just all suddenly, like in December, I really started to evaluate it and think about it, and I just felt like that I'm spending too much time and energy just like, I guess I love connecting with people, so I don't really that doesn't really bother me, like that part of it, but it's just like the energy that it takes from me, the time that it takes from me, and how much time I just spend like aimlessly scrolling. And I could be reading a book. I used to love to read and I used to do it all the time, so just trying to like reevaluate and maybe kind of like step back from Facebook, because Facebook is never going to bring me anything monetarily. Like it's not going to, I'm not going to be able to get brand deals through my Facebook, my personal Facebook. I'm not going to be able to do anything like that. So it doesn't really make sense for me to be creating so much energy and creating so much content for Facebook and so much time on there when it's not really doing anything for my life, you know? So I'm just trying to really like focus, because I have such limited time and such limited mental energy for what I'm doing, that I want only my time and mental energy to be going to platforms that make sense for me, like YouTube and Medium, writing on there. And I'm trying to study for my real estate exam, and I found that I'm actually like really behind in like where I need to be. I need to be doing 2 quizzes every single day to stay on track. So to do that, I need to really narrow everything down as far as like outside things and energy being depleted from me. I also noticed that my phone, when it like vibrates a lot, like it's vibrating day, night, constantly, like with every single tiny little notification for anything, text, whatever. So it's just constantly going off, and that is constantly pulling my focus and attention all day long and all night. So I completely silence my phone, and that right there, just instantly, I have been feeling so great these last few days. Like I just don't feel, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but I guess for someone who's just like, I feel like anytime something's vibrating, like I need to put my attention to it. Like I need to see, like if I hear my phone vibrate, I wonder, you know, is it my partner who's trying to text me or get a hold of me? So I never know. So I check every single vibration and text and everything. And I just feel like that it's just constantly like wanting my attention, pulling my attention all day long and all night long. And it's just, I don't like that. I don't like constantly having to jump and worry and stress about who is it, what's going on, like always kind of being on call, always being like high alert to what's going to go on and what's going to happen. So silencing that has just allowed me to not be on high alert as far as that goes. And I kind of feeling myself the last few months kind of coming out of survival mode feeling, which I feel like I felt my whole life. And it's a process. So it's going to be a very long time for me to shift my mindset and get out of that survival mode kind of feeling, thinking, energy, and all of that. But I really feel like it's starting to happen. And I think once I implement really limiting my Facebook time, I think I'll feel even freer and even less of that constant kind of survival mode energy internally. So I'm going to start in February. I'm only going to post once a week because I love posting and sharing my life with my friends and everything on Facebook and connecting with them. But I'm just not going to spend the time and the energy on it like I normally do. So I've narrowed it down to I can post once a week, and I will still share like my Medium writings when I create them, and also some of my YouTube videos as I make them on there. But like as far as like writing a post or doing something, I'm going to try to stick to once a week, at least for like my personal posts, like where I go like coffee shops or vacation or walks or anything like that. I just want to keep it to once a week, one post, and one probably really long thing about like my week, because I kind of like to almost like a little blog of like what I like, disliked, like what happened and whatever, how I was feeling. And so I want to start doing that just like once a week. And I was kind of surprised that a lot of people were actually saying they were going to miss my post, and they were saying all these types of things. And I actually got a lot of comments and like likes and things like that, when normally on my Facebook I don't see any of that, because I find that like a lot of social medias, people just usually read something and they keep scrolling. They don't really interact. They don't show that they've read it, that they appreciate it, that they agree, disagree. Like, they don't really interact. And so that's why when I'm on social media, I try to make sure that I acknowledge people's posts and what they're saying or doing. If I have something to say, I say it, and I always make sure I like it. That way they know that I was there and I appreciated the time, the thought, and the energy that it took for them to put that post out to the world or to their friends. I just feel like it's a good way to stay connected with people, because if I never like someone's post, they will never even know that I even saw it and that I was there. And I think that's just a really big like disconnect, because I don't want to be some silent friend, because I will feel like that I'm interacting with them, because I will be seeing their entire life unfold on my timeline, even though maybe we don't speak or anything. But they will never even know that I was even watching that, or they'll never know that I was even appreciating what they were doing in their content and things like that. So I make sure I always like their post. I just feel like it's kind of like a courtesy, you know, to just do that. I just feel like it's a nice thing to do, to let people know that I'm there and that I appreciate or care what they're saying or doing. And so I was kind of surprised, because I think a lot of the people on my timeline, they don't do that. They don't think like that. And so I think a lot of them just keep scrolling and they don't really respond or kind of connect with me. So I never know. I find most of the people who connect the most with my posts are actually people who want to be my friend, but I don't accept them because I don't know them and they don't live in my city. There have been some people I've accepted that seem, you know, okay and cool, and they're not weird, creepy guys. They seem completely okay. But a lot of the people are just like followers, and I find that they're the most supportive. Or like new friends that I've made here in Seattle, they're the most supportive. I have a few like old time like college friends that are always like crazy supportive. Like, they're always commenting, liking, doing whatever, you know, that I'm helping me out, like becoming a Patreon member and just like all kinds of fun stuff like that. So I do appreciate and love that about them, especially because I don't live in the same area as them anymore, and I really have not like face to face like really connected with them in like probably 10 years, maybe 12, 13 years. So it's been a long time, but I like having that community and that connection. So I don't want to lose that. I don't want to leave Facebook entirely. And part of the reason is that I find that a lot of my energy, it just feels kind of down, because when I post something that is about human rights or about treating people better, nicer, like coming from the heart, loving everyone, I get a lot of pushback and hate and things that are like the total opposite. And I feel like that's just not what I want to interact with. That's not the kind of energy that I want in my life. If I'm saying we need to lead with love and other people have excuses as to why we shouldn't lead with love, and they want to argue against treating humans better, I just don't want to like even have to interact with that, which I've already told myself I'm not going to silence myself on any of my platforms and like what I have to say against human rights and how we need to be treating people better and giving them better lives. But the people who comment that are in opposition of that, or just maybe always want to take the opposite side of whatever I'm saying for whatever reason, I'm decided that I'm not even going to interact with them. Usually I try to reason, I try to talk, I try to go back and forth and show my experience, my thoughts. But if it's not really helping me and it's just taking and sapping all my energy out to try to interact with these types of people, then I'm not even gonna respond at all. Like, even if I feel bad because I'm ignoring them, I'm gonna just ignore it, because I don't have time for that. I even had one person, he was like, why don't you tell me like how you would build this utopian world? What would it look like to you in your eyes? Like, on my Facebook that I had posted, he was wanting me to lay out an entire new world and like what it should be looking like and all these things. And I told him, dude, I don't have time for that. I don't have the energy to be trying to conjure up some world that you want me to do for you on a whim, you know, just because you're demanding or saying that. No, thank you. I'm not gonna do that. And then of course he got all offended, and I said, you know what, we can meet in person over coffee and discuss all these things in person, because I much prefer face-to-face meeting and talking, because doing it over like texting and like on Facebook, like through words, that's too difficult. That's too much time and all of that. And you still will never get your points across, you know? So I was like, what's your schedule like? Because he lives down south, and he never responded back. So I was like, of course, yeah, okay. So I'm just, you know, like interactions like that, I just don't want to have to deal with them anymore. I'm just tired of it. So I'm just gonna post what I want, ignore what I don't want to respond to, and my Facebook's gonna be my own. But I do think I need to limit my time because I do have so much I'm trying to do. Definitely go read my Medium article down below about my 10-year strategy of exiting the rat race. I kind of have already done it, but I still need to make money somehow, which is why I'm doing all these different things like on the side, or like coming up with new things, business ideas, things like that. Like you still have to make money somehow, but I think like really setting yourself up and coming with a timeline and how to get there and the strategy of how to get there, and being open to things changing, taking longer, less time, like all these types of things, just being open to life and it not going as planned, but you still need to have some type of strategy or plan there and how you're going to get there. At least I think so. So let me know down below if you're also in the same kind of journey of like exiting out of the workforce and kind of wanting to build something so that you can be financially free and also have flexibility, and that your own time can be yours and you can spend it doing whatever you want. I want to spend my time traveling the world and volunteering and helping people. That is all I'm interested in. So I want to build businesses and build things that are going to bring in income with me having to have little involvement with them, where I can hire people to take care of everything, and then I act like the true CEO of a company, and I am just out traveling the world, coming up with new designs, concepts, creative things, ideas, new innovative stuff. Like I just focus on that, which is what a CEO is supposed to do. Like you're supposed to be focusing on, as a business owner, of like where you're going to take your company, how your company is going to grow, progress, what is happening next, you know, 10 years, 20 years. That's your job. And so I think it's where a lot of business owners, they kind of lose sight of it. They end up becoming everything, and they try to do everything themselves without really realizing like what their part in the business is really truly supposed to be and what it's really truly supposed to look like. I want to focus on just finding the coolest experiences that I can bring to the short-term rental space and the vacation space, and how I can be delivering to my customers like the most amazing, immaculate experiences that will really transport them into another dimension, another world, and make them feel like that they are just having the best time, the best experience, and the most relaxing time, because I'm all about relaxing. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. Nature, connecting, relaxing, those three things, community. I think a lot of people in this day and age, they're really looking for a community because we don't really have it here. And I was thinking last night, I was up so late last night thinking of how to design affordable housing units in Seattle, and like how to incorporate community into the space, and also how to revitalize a lot of the malls, because we have so many like dying and dead malls and it's just useless space. But usually they're in prime locations, they have great access, they have huge parking lots, they have amazing access to usually trains or roads or interstates. Just they're always like a central hub. It's almost like they are the town center for a lot of places, because a lot of places don't have like a downtown or a town center, and so everyone just congregates to the mall. But if that dies, you're really losing a huge part of your community and a way for people to come together out of the elements, besides a park or something like that. But I just am trying to think of like, how can we take these places and not make them necessarily about spending money, because all of these malls are about you going and just spending money, and most people don't have that money. And I don't want to also really keep perpetuating the consumerism mindset. I would rather us really focus on experiences, connecting, helping each other, building things. So I really think that maybe revitalizing the malls into more of a apartment, which I've noticed with the mall here in Alderwood Mall, they're building apartments above, I think they destroyed the JCPenney that was there. It's huge, of course. And they destroyed that, and they're rebuilding it, and they're making it so it's an apartment complex. So it's going to be an apartment complex, the mall and everything like that. And they're doing that because the mall, of course, like I said, has great access to everything. It has a good bus system that goes to it right outside. So it's really good, and it's very walkable. So whoever lives in those apartments could come down. If they put a grocery store in there, you could go shop for your groceries. There's coffee shops. There's, of course, places to buy things. And just that indoor space, because it gets really chilly and rainy here in Seattle like 6 months out of the year. So it's nice to have an enclosed area, but it's big. It feels wondrous. It has skylights. They could maybe incorporate more greenery in there, more green walls and spaces like that, and waterfalls and water and things like that. That's what I'm kind of envisioning for building affordable housing in Seattle and in this area, is just trying to incorporate kind of that mall type structure and putting things in there that are more hands-on, and maybe even like the library, but not necessarily like the library for people to go and do things, but not necessarily like library. So for other things, so maybe like things for hiking or gear for snow hikes and things like that, where people can go and check out stuff, and they can go and access all of these types of things here when they have really low income, and maybe even have it to where there's a bus that takes people to certain trails and they can check these things out. Maybe even checking out things like paints, or like how to do crafts and things like that, just crafts and paints. Just having an area that's just like really, I don't know, just really focused on community, but not where you necessarily pay. And that's where you want to make this part of the city, because if you have any corporation that gets involved, you're not going to have to pay for these services and these things, and of course people to run it and keep things going, and rent, electricity, you know, a huge list of expenses. But you also have to cover profits for everyone and everything, and that just becomes a really big chunk of the money that could be used to fund more things that brings community and happiness to people without them having to pay money. And that's where I'm really thinking about. I would like to get my contractor license in the next 5 years, and I want to focus on building affordable places like this and spaces, and really working with the city on design and concepts and what is really going to truly make this place a really good place. Because we don't want to just supply housing. I don't want to just see units that are just stark and everyone's just holed away in their house and no one has a place to go and interact and have that sense of community. And if we had a place where you get to just go downstairs if you want, you know, you're feeling in the mood for some painting or some kind of craft, you go downstairs and there's a huge area where anyone in the community can come, check in, and create crafts with each other, together with their kids. Like, have that space and have all of those resources available to people, because I know I love crafting and painting and things like that. I don't want to go pay money for classes or to do things, but I don't have space in my apartment really to set everything out and to have all the supplies and the things that I want to do. So if we had that kind of community area, maybe there's already one out there, I don't know. Let me know down below if there's already things like this out in the world. These are just things that I'm thinking of. Like, I would like it if there was this. I would like it if there was that, like, available. I could access it. Like, I would love these types of things. And so that's just kind of where I was going with all of that. And so that's just part of me trying to silence everything so I can really just hone in on all of my creative thoughts and ideas, and I can really maybe start to implement them more. Of course, right now, until I get my real estate license, that's going to be my main priority, and my main energy is going to go into studying, because I'm not good at studying and I'm not good at memorizing or recalling things. So I'm really nervous and afraid that I will not pass the test, even if I do well on all the quizzes, which I have been doing really well on the quizzes. But it's just like that when you go take the test. I'm a terrible test taker. I usually, all of the things that I've learned just leave my mind, and I just confuse myself and I pick the wrong thing, and it's just like, oh man. So I'm not looking forward to that at all. And I just hope that I pass the first time around, because I've tried to get my personal trainer certification, which is in my article down below. I'm gonna link all the articles I just wrote. And I was not good at studying, and I was working 2 jobs, and I didn't pass by 2 points, and I just completely gave up, because it was like, I didn't feel like paying again, and I didn't necessarily trust myself that I would pass the test even if I took it a second time, which I probably would have, but you know, in the moment, it just didn't feel right. And so, but real estate is something that I seriously want to pursue because I absolutely love real estate and I absolutely love the design of it, and I do really want to work for Redfin because it's so flexible and it would fit with my schedule of building the glamping business. It would work with that type of schedule, and I've also started working with a small business locally where I just go and I'm helping them implement and evaluate like all of their social media accounts, their website, like their verbiage on everything. They want me to help them with sales strategies, with emails, with all these different types of marketing techniques and figuring out who to contact and where to get more sales and how to build a business in a strategic way, and just like a bunch of stuff that I am working on with them. And I just started on Monday. It's just gonna be one day a week, and so it fits into my really busy, hectic schedule, and I do like having a little bit of income coming in with that, because if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't have anything. So it's nice to have at least a little something. It's not like a ton of money, but it's enough to like help me not to go too far into the hole every single month into my savings account, which I absolutely hate doing, but it's like I have to keep focused on I am building something here. Like I can't go and take a job making very little money and it takes all of my energy and saps everything out of me. Like I've done that for 16 years. It's time for me to step away. It's time for me to trust myself and to pursue what I want to do, because I know I have the idea, the ambition, like I know I can do it. I just need to focus and just stay on the course. That's where I'm at. I'm still looking for investors for the glamping business too. I had all of these people interested last week and I was getting all excited, and then every single one of them ghosted. I was like, okay, what's a good time? It's just people are so uncomfortable with trying to have a video chat. I don't know, but it's like I am not gonna have an investor if I don't get to like see you face to face in a way. Like we have to see if we're a good fit. I cannot be in business with someone that I don't have a good energy with or that I don't vibe with. Like I need to make sure that they're gonna be a good fit. We need to make sure we cover everything and we talk. A lot of the people were just like, send me a packet. Like, no, I'm not gonna send you a packet. Like this is not like, you're not some angel investor who's not gonna have any say. Like I want investors, partners. Like we are going to have to like get along and work together, and we need to all have the right personalities, the right mindsets, and also the right skills so that we complement each other. Like that's what I'm looking for. So I mean, I tried to convey that, but then it just didn't seem to work out, and then a lot of them ghosted. So I'm just like, ugh. But I do have 2 people that want to talk to me just about ideas in general. They're wanting to do glamping but in other states, and I'm hoping maybe I can talk to them and maybe they'll want to invest. We'll see. So that's why I was okay with like setting up a chat with them. I'm gonna call her tomorrow and talk to her in the morning. And then the other person, I'm not sure, like his account kind of gives me weird vibes as far as like what he says. Like he's like house flipper, like, you know, we buy houses cash, like kind of like what he's saying seems a little gimmicky. So I don't know if I want to necessarily connect with you. Like we'll see. But I'm just like really careful. I am not in any rush or hurry to get the glamping like up and going. Of course, I would love to have it funded and we would start in the next few months. That would be ideal and perfect, but I'm not in that much of a hurry to create it and do it so that maybe it's not successful. Like I would rather take my time, find the right team, and also fund it properly and make sure we go through all the proper channels and we know what we're doing and we know what we're getting into before we set it up and do it. Like it's not something I'm trying to just go pop up a tent on the side of the road and rent it out to people. Like we are trying to actually build something like Under Canvas or something like that. I don't know if you're in the glamping space, then you would know who Under Canvas is. They're a huge company. Like they literally make probably more than $1 million per site, and they have I think 10 or 12 sites. So they are a huge company. Glamping has amazing potential for revenue, but you just have to make sure you build it properly, you build it out, and you market it correctly. And so that's just what. And also I'm in a lot of Airbnb groups on Facebook. Another reason why I need to clip back my Facebook, because I'm always like putting in my advice and opinion on there too. And a lot of the people on there, they're just buying a house and they're renting out an Airbnb or a VRBO, and they're not really thinking of it as like a business. They don't write up a business plan, they don't have emergencies, they don't structure it, fund it, and they don't make sure that everything is set up properly. And I mean, I guess some of them it's okay, maybe they're okay with that risk, but I just am not okay with like risking so much money on like a whim or on a maybe, because if you have it destroyed, if you have some kind of unknown thing, I don't want to be put in a financial bind. I don't want to have to foreclose or lose something, ruin my credit. Like, I want to make sure that I am trying to mitigate risks as much as possible. So that was just like, that's why I'm taking so long with the glamping. I know my friends on Facebook are probably thinking I'm never gonna do this, but it's gonna happen. It's just, some things take way longer than you anticipate. But that's just what I'm thinking with Facebook. Let me know down below if you are also trying to maybe limit your social media consumption or just interactions. And I find actually I'm okay with my YouTube like interaction or just being on there a lot, because YouTube, I usually watch documentaries or experiences or people, and I love the content. I don't feel that it's toxic or negative or anything like that. I feel like it expands my mind and it helps me to see things from different perspectives and views, and the documentaries are very informative. I absolutely love YouTube. I find that it's a really amazing community. And Instagram as well. I'm okay with Instagram, which I'm never on there. I only make a reel and I'm gone. I watch a few reels and I turn it off. Like, it's only Facebook where I really like interact with people and community, which I love, but that's also where I get a lot of the negativity and also a lot of my time and energy being lost. So that's just where I'm coming with all of that. But yeah, I will see all of you in the next video. I'm about to go work at a coffee shop.